ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome. Actually, not children of all ages. This is a mature show. I keep saying that shit, but kids, honestly, don't listen to this. This is bad for your health. Be listening to a man swear like this. Welcome to another episode of Some Random. We are on episode 24, and joining me from all the way across the pond, the wonderful, the beautiful Ace of Spuds. What's going on, baby?
What's up, buddy? Thanks for having me on. Very excited.
Listen, I'm happy to have you on. When I threw it out on Twitter, that I was like, hey, I need another guest for the show, and I can't remember who, but maybe it was Cross Moon had tagged you.
It was, yeah. It was Cross.
Yeah, and he was like, hey, Ace of Spuds exists, and I was like, oh fuck, that's right. I would love to have someone else from Europe in, and you graciously were like, I'd love to, and so now we're here. So hey, man, how's it going?
I'm good. Other than the absolutely disastrous World Cup earlier, I'm doing okay. That was an awful way to start my morning, but yeah, I'm good.
Listen, I totally understand. This morning I woke up and my knee was just like not feeling good, like popped out of place. Like, I don't know, that's the way it feels, and all day it's been bugging me.
Yikes.
And I went to stand up earlier, and like all of a sudden, all my years of like just, I don't know, all the shit that I've done to my body was like, you can't walk today, and I fell down.
Just caught up.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, well, fuck. All right, I'm done. No more for me. Oh, man. Well, hey, listen, let's start the show. Tell the people, who the hell are you?
My name is Cian, but most people will obviously call me Ace of Spuds because that's my handle. So I'm an FGC member here in Ireland, in Europe, obviously, and I'm a commentator. But that's my main part or influence, I guess, in the FGC. So I currently commentate with the Salt Mine League, which would be, I think it's fair to say, we're the biggest online weekly in Europe, easily.
Yeah, you guys have monster numbers for entrance.
Yeah, we maxed out to 64, I think, more than half the times this season. So
wow.
And then recently I've also started working with As One Productions, which would be the production team behind Celtic Throwdown, so the big premiere we have here in Ireland every year. So I'm hopefully going to be going to commentating with a lot of their events coming up next year.
Oh wow! So yeah, that's a huge one. That's a big get. Hot damn.
yeah, it's very exciting. Yeah. Like I said, the FGC has been there forever, but the commentating thing kind of just happened naturally over the last couple of years. But maybe the last 6 months, it's kind of skyrocketed. So it's really cool, the opportunities that are coming my way. So I'm definitely not going to look any gift horses in the mouth. Yeah,
definitely. No, absolutely. Yeah, take every opportunity you can as they come. Being able to do Celtic Throwdown though, that's awesome. That every time that I watch Celtic Throwdown, I'm like, fuck, that's the event that I want to go to overseas. Like every single time.
Well, this year now I did get to commentate some Super Turbo at Celtic Throwdown, but obviously with it being a premier event, it's Capcom themselves will decide who's on the main SF5 stream.
Right.
So,
and
obviously we have such high quality, commentators here already in Europe for SF5 that it's definitely a tough battle to get a spot.
Yeah, definitely. That's a hard one to get into when you have guys like F Word and Logan like every week just like providing like excellent
Tyrant, Damascus, Jammers. There's so many people
Jammers
that are so good at their job.
Yeah, Jammers is crazy because that dude always looks like he's like chilling and having a good time, but knows exactly what is happening on screen. What every person who is playing like at the time has been doing for the last week for preparation. Like that motherfucker is just on his game.
I had the pleasure of my first large scale live event, Head Stomper. I actually did BB Tag the Arc Revo World Tour with Jammers, and as you said, the amount of information that man has is just terrifying.
you can't fault him for for a lack of preparedness. Like he doesn't have it. That dude is just ready to rock at all times.
Absolutely.
Well, shit, man. What got you started down this path in the first place? What got you into fighting games?
Well, to be totally honest, like I was kind of always on the fringe of taking it more seriously, if that makes any sense. So, like, I grew up with fighting games, very stereotypical, playing old Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat on my I still remember playing the first Mortal Kombat on my PS1 when it came out, like being a young fella, and it just being, wow, look at how over the top and violent it is. This is great. So I think it was maybe very stereotypical Street Fighter 4 kind of made me really sit up. Again, very stereotypical Street Fighter 4 kind of made me...
Sorry.
We had a bit of an echo there.
That was on my end. Sorry, we got a little feedback. Okay. You are all good.
Perfect. Just making sure it wasn't me.
No, you are all set. Sorry.
So yeah, like with like the 09er situation, I guess in Street Fighter 4 was, damn, I'm trying to think how old I was. I would have been 17. 17, yeah.
Okay.
Man, my memory is shocking. So I think that was as I was becoming an adult. Street Fighter as like, as an e-sport, or fighting games as, a legitimate sport was becoming more of a concept. So I kind of just naturally matured with that as SF5 came out. So then by the time SF5 came out, I was maybe not season 1, but definitely season 2. I was like, no, this is where I'm going with, my interest in gaming, because previous to that I'd been coaching and doing mod work and admin work for a totally different genre of video game, for FPSs of all things.
Oh, okay.
So I've actually got a background in coaching FPS games. So that's kind of behind me now. I've totally transitioned to just, no, I love fighting games. Like, I always had that seed of fighting games, and I think it's just I've kind of married like my love of teaching with my love of fighting games. So that's kind of where I see myself going forward. And like commentating is like one of the most like logical conclusions of all that.
Yeah,
to me anyway.
Definitely, yeah. That lineage, that tree, like that, the way that like that progresses, absolutely makes sense. In coaching FPSs, I know a lot of people who I don't want to say very recently, but like people that were involved in the FPS scene, as time has gone on, they look for something more challenging, more direct, and fighting games always seems like the natural progression for a lot of people who are like mid tier to like low high tier like area of FPSs are like, I want something that I can do for myself. You hit the nail
on the head, like, and to be honest, not to detract from the team setting, because I still play lots of FPS games. I still love playing with like good teammates, and there's nothing like it.
Right.
But personally, from a competitive side of things, I much prefer the 1v1 setting.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
currently
absolutely.
Anyway.
Right, because like Gears of War, like that's probably one of my first loves.
Right. Okay.
And I'll always go back and play Gears online, but like playing competitively, like traveling to events, it'll never happen. Like that's just not my scene.
Yeah.
But like, I'll definitely spend like a couple $1,000s to go travel somewhere else and play fucking Street Fighter and go 0-2. It's just more fun. Yeah, man, that's playing. The world of FPSs though, like I'll throw them all the credit in the world. The amount of shit talk that happens in like first person shooters and like games like Gears of War might even top the FGC. Like I'm happy I was forged in those fires as like a young kid, and then like coming into fighting games and being oh man, like this guy popped off. Like, man, I don't know, like y'all ain't seen some shit yet.
That's it. Like I'm a Halo kid, and Halo was fairly reserved even for FPSs. Like, but it was still, I see people talking about pop-offs in the FGC, and it's like I'm like, oh, they had a nice handshake after. That's nice. That's lovely. That's so wholesome.
I've seen dudes spitting and screaming in other dudes' faces.
Yeah. Like I think even at the end of the day, the most bitter rivalries in the FGC, for the most part, tend to have like a mutual sense of respect.
Definitely.
I mean, in modern times, I'm sure, like in the early 2000s, there was a lot more kind of grimy rivalries, like I'd say you'd call them.
Yeah, well, we're definitely evolving, and thank God for that. I like to call this era of fighting games like the era of gentlemen, because everyone knows each other now. Everyone has a lot of like local support and shit like that. Like when one of your local guys wins, it's a big fucking deal. But like for the most part, everyone knows everyone, right? So we're all like, we respect each other. And that shit kind of grows, like being in the FGC environment where it is just you versus someone else with no one else to blame. You definitely grow together and get better together.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's a much better outlook for the community going forward,
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you still want to foster that sense of competition and that sense of beating the other guy. But there's a good way to do that, do you know what I mean? There's a positive way to approach that.
Right. And I do think it's better, even for the growth of the genre and for the scene as we move forward. Although I see a lot of people talking about, like, I miss the old days when, like, you'd get fucking shanked at the arcade for talking shit. But, like, I don't know, man. If I wanted to, everyone talks about wanting the esports money and shit like that. Like, why don't I get paid? I don't know. Maybe because you make fucking the 14-year-old who wants to get into fighting games fucking shit himself trying to get into fighting games. Y'all want to scream in his face. Like, I don't know. What do you want from me?
Yeah, it's the whole FGC boomer memes. You know, some of them ring a bit too true, but at the same time, I can understand the sentiment of wanting to keep the kind of rough and tumble community grassroots sense to it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like I said, like there's a good way to do this. There's a good way to transition. Do you know what I mean? Forward.
Right. And yeah, that's. I don't want that to come across as the old way was bad and the old ways were bad, because that's not true. The thing I appreciate most about the FGC is the intensity. You know.
Absolutely.
But you have to be able to understand that, like, fostering environment for all people to enter and want to enjoy fighting games is a big thing, and I think we're getting there. I think we're getting there.
Yeah, super important. Like, even I'm the oldest of 6 siblings by a long margin. And one of my sisters is now like, no, I want to properly learn Street Fighter. No, I'm being serious now. Like, you have to show me properly. And like, I am confident in saying it's an environment where I'd be happy, you know, bringing her to an event or a tournament, and, you know, immersing her with the community, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's a great thing, I think, personally.
Right. You don't have to go like, oh man, I don't know, it might not be right for you. Like, you can just hop right in and be like, no, absolutely, like, come along.
Yeah. Come over here, sit down, play Nemo. Just ask him nicely. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I'm taking my wife to an event we have here in the States called Michigan Masters, which is a pretty big anime event, but they have some good Tekken and Street Fighter. But I'm taking her to it for the first time. This will be her first time, and I'm like, you know what? That environment is a fucking casual party environment, while being some of the fiercest competitors on the planet. I go, so that's going to be the perfect fucking time for you to go with me for 3 days to that goddamn thing, because you're just going to have a ball. So it's going to be... I can't
Sounds great.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Yeah, so, man, so I guess... You said you play a lot of first-person shooters, stuff like that, transition into fighting games. What was your first video game? What got you started playing video games, like, and to where you are now?
First video game, Christ! I'm sure that's a question people should have prepared, but whenever I try to think, it's just, man, oh man, first ever. I actually, do you know what? It actually probably was Tetris.
Okay.
I think it actually, because my mother is like a secret Tetris fiend. You know, these like middle-aged women who, like, you know, don't come across like they play any video games, but are secretly Tetris fiends. Do you have those in the States? We have a lot of them in Ireland.
Oh, we have a lot of those. There's an old game called Yoshi on the NES, which is like has the Mario Brothers Yoshi. You just match enemies on the screen as they come down, like kind of like Tetris, but it's kind of like a match style game. I'll fucking throw it up on the screen really quick. But what it is it's a puzzle game, and you match those kind of like Dr. Mario. And my grandma will beat the fucking brakes off of anyone that wants to match her in Yoshi. She's a fucking fierce competitor when it comes to Yoshi. Yoshi, Dr. Mario, and Tetris. Those games, like, the women in my family don't play video games, but they play those games, and best believe, like, if we want to talk about people talking shit, as competitors, my family gets fucking into it for some old school NES games. They don't give a damn. They will come upon you. For anyone that's watching the VOD or watching the stream live, this is what Yoshi looks like. So you got Mario on the bottom of the screen, and he's rotating enemies, and you have to match them as they fall down from the top of the screen. Every now and then a Yoshi egg will fall down, like half a Yoshi egg, and you can catch a stack of enemies, and then the top of a Yoshi egg will fall later. And when those all come down, they like connect together, and it creates a giant Yoshi on screen. As I explain this, every time I explain this game to someone, I realize just how fucking insane it sounds for a Mario game. And I'm like, no wonder no one knows what the hell this game is, because it sounds like a fucking fever dream. But this is a game that, to this day, I will play the shit out of, and my family will play. And, like, at family events, if we're all together, like, hanging out playing it, like, it gets real. So we've had to be separated before. But it's a lot of fun. Tetris, man, that's actually like a solid one to start with, because the greatness of Tetris on the NES, even back in the day, like the music and like how everything pops in your victory screens, everything just like comes out really fucking well. I really enjoy that game.
Oh, 2 seconds, sorry.
No problem.
Just a few audio problems.
Yep, that's okay. We were prepared for this coming in. No big deal. just a couple of technical difficulties, folks. Ace of Spuds have a couple problems with his microphone. No problem. That's what I'm here for, to cover. Keep ranting about Yoshi and the greatness of that game. There were puzzle games on the NES that like everyone should play.
Right.
Oh, still getting a little bit of pop there, but I think we're all good now.
What about now?
Yep, we should be all set.
Okay, perfect. Sorry about that, guys.
Awesome. Hey, no problem. Like I said, it is what it is. Could be worse. At least you're not like shouting racial slurs. Like I can't technical difficulties over that. So you're all good.
But we won't have that problem, I promise.
Oh man, but yeah, the puzzle games on the NES, like unparalleled. Fucking Dr. Mario, Yoshi, Tetris, Yoshi's Cookie, I believe, was on there. Fucking if you want to play old school games and like you're looking for a system, the NES had them, man. Those were fun ones to start with. So for anyone that's just joining, really quick, this is a Twitch live show. So anything that happens and you go, oh, like what is this here? Like what are these notifications in the background? That's because we're recording live. For anyone that doesn't, listen, you would be surprised the amount of people that go, I don't know what's happening right now. So we're recording this live. This is Ace of Spuds, European TO. Well, I'm gonna say Irish. Irish sounds better at this point. Irish TO for the Salt Mine League. Commentator over there.
I am not a TO. I do not take that responsibility.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right. Well,
I am strictly the shouting man. They don't trust me with any other responsibility.
Gotcha. All right. Fair enough. Commentator, not TO. Got it. Listen,
my German overlords will be very upset if you think that I have that responsibility.
Well, look, I'm gonna keep believing it, but I won't say it into a microphone anymore. So I'll do it that way. Oh man. So yeah, all right. So let's get into that then for a second while we're on the topic. So Salt Mine League.
Yeah, perfect segue.
Yeah, you guys consistently max out at 64 competitors a week. Weekly tournament, 64. The only tournament that I know of that matches that is the online local for the Reddit on Mondays. And even then, like some days we don't hit the 64 limit like you guys do. How did the Salt Mine League evolve? I guess how did it grow to the point that it is now? Aside from the great production that you guys put on.
Well, I think so. We just wrapped up season 3, so our seasons would be a league base where it's 8 weeks. So for 8 concurrent weeks, there's a tournament each week, and then essentially it's a point-based league. So we just wrapped up season 3, and I joined at the start of season 2. Season 1 was actually a much smaller operation that the guys were running. There's a lot of people behind the scenes that if I tried to name everybody, I'd miss somebody and I'd get in trouble, so I'm not going to. But essentially, it was the guys behind the scenes in Germany. It was initially just a kind of a German tournament. So it was run in German language for German SF5 players. But they had such success with that first initial season that then they branched it off into the rest of EU for season 2, and obviously wanted to do it via English for season 2 because even though not everybody in Europe speaks English, it's a far more universal language, especially for the FGC, than German. So that's how I got involved. A Swedish friend of mine, recommended that I'd started, doing a lot more commentating, and that he thought I was good at it. So joke's on him. So I just got a message from the Salt Mine League guys. They asked me to come on, and they didn't ask me to leave. So that's why I'm still there. Sorry, go on.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that really that's all you need. Sometimes you just have to be around long enough, and then they just stop kicking you out after a certain point in time.
Oh well, the ongoing joke is I get fired every week and rehired before next Sunday. Like that, my arm's getting sore from signing all these esports contracts because I get re-signed every week.
Oh man, that's awesome. Yeah. So sorry, continue on. I didn't mean to interrupt you there.
No, it's all good. So yeah, I mean, the big thing really is that I think there's a couple of key things the guys have set up that really kind of influence, like what you were talking about, the consistent 64 signups, which is the maximum participants. Number one, and it's such a simple thing, but I think it's genius, is there's a mandatory network test. Now, it's not foolproof because there's certain things like, like jitter and things like that you can't really pick up on too many good online connection tests, but it still sets the baseline. And just by having that baseline, it really has mitigated the amount of connection problems we've had by it being an online tournament. In my 2 seasons of commentating it or viewing it in the days I'm off and not commentating, so that would be 16 tournaments. So that's 4 or 5 hours a tournament. So whatever 5 by 16 is, that many hours of watching, and a handful of incidents in which lag or a connection issues actually caused enough of a problem that a match couldn't be played. So I think that's a real testament to the organisation of it, that we do mandate the connection test to sign up. Now, I guess you might say it's a little exclusionary for some players, but I mean, at the end of the day, we want it to be the best experience for everybody involved.
Right. You have to look out for the viewers, and you have to look out for the competitors themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, one thing I'd say is, anybody, like, if you are playing an online tournament, be it ours or the Reddit Street Fighter locals or the Reddit Street Fighter locals for Europe or any online tournament, and a match gets laggy, just play it out. Like, it can be frustrating, but it's just the nature of online, unfortunately.
Yeah.
You have, you could just take the loss and quit, but you could win, and maybe the next match would be no lag. It is just unfortunately the nature of the online landscape at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it is unfortunate. We're heading into 2020, and netcode experience is still a problem for a lot of fighting games.
Yeah,
I really wish it wasn't, because there are tournaments like your guys's, and like I said, the online local over here. And then, there's a couple of other ones that we have over here that rotate. The A4 Andre Arena, which happens on Sundays. And like, those are fun tournaments to be in. They're really great. But, you'll get matched up with someone who, is trying their best. They might have a wired connection, and you have a wired connection. Everything's great. But for whatever reason, CFN is just like, not today, fuckers.
Yep. And I think hopefully, like, I'm being optimistic, but I'm hoping the next generation of consoles and specifically fighting games, as we go forward into the next 2 or 3 years, no doubt we'll be getting something. I do hope. Even Guilty Gear 2020, we don't know, but I hope more thought has been put into the infrastructure. Because, like you're saying, like, as the FGC grows, and it's growing, I think, faster now than ever. I mean, you just have to look at, all the hubbub about, the Riot fighting game.
Right.
But I think we're like five, maybe not even 5 years out from, like, no longer being actual, like, local tournament focused, and seeing a lot more online play if the infrastructure is there to support it, which I think it really needs to be.
Yeah, it's a big deal, and the biggest thing that can happen with fighting games and its growth is having a stable online community. We see so much of, like, high fight clips, and Reddit clips and Salt Mine clips, of this great online action, and the ones that we do get that are great, those are awesome, and we'd have, no exaggeration, probably 40 to 50% more great clips if matches were playable most of the time.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, you're never ever going to mimic the experience of being at the event with online tournaments, ever, like the actual social experience.
Right.
But if we can get the gameplay experience, not even the exact same, but like feasibly parallel, like, it would improve the community so much, I think.
Yeah.
Or it would help, not even improve the community, it would help us as TOs, as commentators, as organisers to improve the community, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, 100%.
It's just...
And we've had great competitors come up, Infectious, Punk, a lot of those guys have come up in the online community, and we could have a lot more of those awesome competitors if they have an environment to compete in the first place.
Exactly, and just a small side note, I can actually confirm Infectious is actually very emotive and nice in real life and not a robot.
Oh, listen, it's good to hear, because, I was watching Evo, like, here in the house, I got it on the big screen and stuff like that, and my wife was watching, and, like, she's, like, kind of paying attention, and he was on screen, and she goes, "Whoa, he's focused," and I go, "Yeah, he's really focused." And then after the match, they cut back to him. I think it was a round that he lost, and he was still making the same face. And she's like, "Oh, he's really focused." And then, like, the set ended, and she's like, "Okay, is he, like, alive? Like, what's happening right now?"
It's just the focus, man. But, like, It's a funny story. Like at Celtic Throwdown on the Sunday, I rather drunkenly had lost my cigarettes. Now I don't smoke much, but when I'm drinking, I unfortunately get some bad tendencies, and one of them includes smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, that's
So
totally fine.
I realised, damn, I've lost my cigarettes. What's going on here? So Oil King quite graciously gave me a cigarette to smoke, and I was like, great, thanks, Oil King. This is perfect, thanks. And ended up talking with him and Infectious, just briefly. But Infectious is actually one of the smiliest, happiest, emotive people I've met when he's not playing the video game. And people don't believe that story, but I've seen it with my eyes. So
that's another thing that like I've learned at events. If you want to really get to know somebody that's like they're not around like watching a friend play, you know, or like eating or something like that, just hang out outside the venue or something like that, because you will.
Yeah.
I'm not going to name any names, but some very strong Asian competitors who are outside having a couple drags outside the fucking event at Combo Breaker, and I just fucking sat there and bullshit with them, and they were extremely nice. I'm only going to put them on blast because I don't want to expose them as smoking. You know, some people still find it taboo, so it is what it is. But yeah, that shit, just hanging out outside the venue, just having a fucking cigarette with some of the best competitors in the world. I was like, I'm not sure where the fuck I am right now, but this is awesome.
Again, even at Celtic Throwdown now, don't ask me to say anything because I'll embarrass myself. But I have been learning Japanese, and I'm hopefully going for a fluency test within the next couple of months, the first level of it. Okay. So, you know, Celtic Throwdown is an obvious chance to test it out on native speakers, you know, just try to be friendly with them.
Right.
So I went up and introduced myself to Dogra. Hello, you know, welcome to Ireland. I hope you're having a nice time. Is it your first time? All in Japanese. I was like, it probably sounded awful, but I said it. And right. His response was, in perfect English, no, it's okay, thank you very much, but I speak fluent English. And I was like, God damn it, why didn't you stop me?
Why did you let me continue on? Oh, man, yeah. Dogra is one of the ones that is fucking a super nice dude.
He's so wholesome. He's so nice. Like, and Itazan as well. I asked Itazan, who was it? It was Itazan and K-Brad, and I was like, yeah, guys, let's get a drink. You know, the round's on me. And trying to explain to Itazan the concept of I was buying his drink. It took a while. Is that not a thing they do? But like, I was like, no, I'll pay. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
My most famous story is meeting and playing Itazan at Combo Breaker. This past year, and I took a game off of him in the Abigail mirror match, and so I handed him my bottle of whiskey that I had on me, and I made him drink, and we sat there drinking together playing Abigail mirror matches, and that was probably one of the greatest experiences of my life, just behind the birth of my child and getting married. That was
just behind.
Yeah, just behind.
Just behind.
Well, listen, you know, I got to keep that competitive fire in the relationship. I can't let my wife get too relaxed now, you know.
No complacency.
Yeah, no complacency in this household. I'm only saying that because right now she's taking a nap. If I said that out loud, she's around, she'd probably smack me in the back of the head. Back to Salt Mine really quick, though. I just want to bring this up really quick. One of my favorite things about the Salt Mine League, for anyone that's watching the VOD right now, the picture's been up for a little bit, but the Salt Mine League, you guys have your logo in the background of the grid stage. So it's not just the plain grid. And I know it's just a PC mod, like it's quick, like boop, throw it up there, you know, and the host of the Battle Lounge has it up there. But goddamn, is that cool, man?
You say that, but like, and I don't want to like, you know, give away insider secrets, but I know for a fact like some of the technical difficulties caused by getting it to be there and stay in place and not like spaz out. A couple of headaches were involved, but yeah, it's such a simple thing, like you said. But I think it does add a huge amount to it, especially because with the online tournament we are kind of, you know, essentially limited to just using the grid.
Right. Yeah. That, you know, if you can only choose one environment to be in, and for what it's worth, the grid does do a good job of keeping matches stable. It is such a plain background that being able to throw something back there, like I said, it really pops out, especially with your guys' color scheme, and it looks cool as hell going back and forth that way. So
yeah, and it all works nicely with the UI the guys have drawn up for the tournament and everything. So it was a brilliant idea. They're very proud of it.
Oh yeah, it is. It's so simple. It works so well. I wish more I'm not saying that the online local for Reddit has to do it, but it would be cool if they had something like that, you know.
It would be really cool.
All the highlights they get shared, you know, that are on the grid stage, to be able to just have like the online local, like boop in the background.
Yeah, and you know instantly what tournament it's coming from.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Like you don't have to look around on the screen for like objective things. You can just go, oh, this is exactly where this clip is from. But anyways,
exactly.
Listen, while we're talking about Celtic Throwdown, while we're talking about these fucking wonderful events, what is the best event that you've been to so far?
See, I'm not allowed to say Celtic Throwdown after earlier on saying I'm now working with them, because then that just looks like bias. So I'm not going to say that. If AJ listens to this, I'm sorry. So I would actually probably say Headstomper in Malmo in Sweden. It's run by the Copenhagen and Malmo FGC. Like they're a joint FGC because it's basically a joint city joined by the bridge, you know.
Okay.
It was a ranking event for SF5. It was an Arc Revo tour for, you know, BB Tag and Guilty Gear. A Tekken, I think it was a Tekken Dojo event. I'm not entirely sure. I'm not as into Tekken as some other games.
Mm-hmm.
The point I'm making is it was in theory, you know, a quote-unquote smaller event, but the production level and the quality of the event was that of any premiere I've been to. It was fantastic. It was brilliant. Free ice cream and free coffee on site all weekend. You know, I'm a caffeine addict, and free ice cream. Like, who doesn't like free ice cream?
Yeah, absolutely.
Just overall, it was a fantastic event, and you know, it'll always hold a special place in my heart. Specifically, the one just gone this year. Well, Jesus, it was nearly. When would it have been? March. I want to say March or April, because it was the first large-scale European live event that I commentated, and they kind of really took a risk on me, bringing me on. You know. In that I was a little, not unheard of, but a little new to the scene. So they definitely took a chance on me with the BB Tag commentary and throwing me right into top 8 with Jammers. And now, I didn't have a perfect performance by any means. Nerves definitely got the better of me. But it provided a 2.5 hour segment of me commentating with who I would argue is one of, if not the best, anime fighting game commentators we have here in Europe, especially for BB Tag and Street Fighter commentators. And able to get feedback from him and able to get feedback from the TOs. It was just a fantastic opportunity that really kick-started me commentating again and more. So, like, for that reason, specifically this year's Headstomper will always be, like, the best tournament I've attended. It'll have a special place in my heart, you know.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, look, talk about throwing your feet directly in the goddamn fire. Hey, we need you for top 8 for BB Tag. Here's Jammers, and it's being broadcast to thousands of people. Have fun.
Well, see, we it wasn't a spur of the moment thing. I knew weeks in advance.
Oh, okay.
But it was still just the set of, you know, look, I hadn't commentated an Arc Revo event before. I hadn't commentated a, you know, multiple thousand viewer event before. Right. It was just a scale above anything I'd done.
Okay.
And they were aware of that and still took the vote of confidence in me.
Well, hell yeah. Well, look, congrats to them for fucking taking a chance on you and giving you the opportunity. That's awesome.
Yeah, it was, like I said, I can't thank them enough. And hopefully I'll be back next year if I didn't make too much of an arse of myself.
Listen, I'm sure that if they didn't, like, give you the old cane and, like, pull you off the set, like, midway through top 8, you did perfectly fine. So I wouldn't even worry about it. Oh, man. No, that's awesome. Headstomper is one that's been brought up recently. Whenever I've asked people about overseas events, they, you know, because for me, I've always wanted to go to Stunfest in France. Okay. And then I know about Celtic Throwdown. That's another one that's, like, on my bucket list of going to. But now whenever I bring it up, Headstomper is another one and people are like, man, you got to go, because they definitely put on, like, one hell of a show. So
good. I think, to be totally honest, if I was to give you, like, top 5 European events in order, it would probably be, man, it's so tough, but it probably UFA, then Stunfest, then Celtic Throwdown, then Headstomper, and then any number of events in the UK. Okay. And that isn't me being biased by being Irish. I bring the Irish event before the UK event because, you know, the UK scene really support us a lot and vice versa. There's no love lost. Or there's plenty of love there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely Headstomper, definitely UFA. I am gutted I missed it this year. It looked absolutely sensational.
Yeah, man, the Europe puts on events that look so good that when I think about traveling, like, Evo Japan and like all the Japanese and Asian events, those aren't even on my radar because Europe does such a good job that I'm like, no,
that's good to hear.
I want to go where my people are that like to drink and play video games. So
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So Europe is the way to go. I think, man, sometime I'm not probably not next year because next year I'm already booked up with events. But maybe 2021 or 2022, I think I'm gonna head out to Europe and try to make at least 2 or 3 events out there. I think that's the goal.
Sick.
That would be super exciting. I can't wait. All right. So that being said, is there an event like that, either overseas, like here in the U.S., or even like in Europe, that you haven't been able to get to that you want to yet?
Man, so many. Like I haven't been able to get to an event in the US, unfortunately. So I think there's any number. Combo Breaker, CEO Taku. Obviously Evo. Like I'm determined to get to Evo, even to just spectate maybe next year or the year after. It's been on the bucket list forever, but obviously return flights from Ireland to Vegas are a month or two's paycheck alone. Like so, it's
no kidding.
It's going to require a bit of gut busting, a bit of saving, but I am hoping to make it.
Yeah, that's
so. I'm going to be cliched and say Evo. I'm just going I'm going to say it. Like it's almost like a mecca for the FGC.
Yeah,
I need to go to.
Totally fine. Like I'm not even gonna I'm not gonna fault you for that. It's a landmark fucking event, and it's one that everyone should go to like as a spectacle. It's like the Disney World for fighting games. You go there to say that you went there.
Yep, and it's one of the things. It's one of the things that I'll show to outsiders or friends who are like not super in the FGC, kind of a tertiary understanding of it, and be like, "This is technically a grassroots community tournament," and they're like, "What?" But it's in the Mandalay Bay Arena. Yeah, I know.
But trust me,
that's
it
how
didn't
much
start
we love
that way.
fighting games, and that's how much these guys who run the tournament love fighting games.
Yeah, And props to them, man, because everyone likes to talk about like Evo Moment 37.
Of course.
But like if you look at that event, like that was in a fucking hotel ballroom, filmed on what I'm sure was just like a handheld camera. It seemed like everywhere you went. I'm pretty sure they just added the grain effect like to the whole event.
It's one of those things where if you think about it in context, we are just coincidentally lucky someone happened to bring a camera and happened to be filming at that time to actually be able to, for those of us who weren't there, witness probably one of the greatest moments ever in any esport.
Right.
It's just so bizarre.
It's
when you think about it that way.
It's one of those things that's been referenced like across like different forms of media. Like everyone who's played video games, like in any sense outside of like
has an understanding of it.
Yeah, they've seen the clip or like they've heard about it before. And it's awesome. But like if you look at that event compared to what it is now, like 15 years later, it is exploded, and to this day it's still a grassroots event. Mind you, they get like corporate money and stuff like that now, like they have sponsorships with Capcom and all the other fun stuff. But it started from dudes who love video games wanting to get together or love fighting games, and like became what it is through strictly like passion and environment alone.
Exactly.
And fucking yeah, that's I'm like I said, I'm not faulting you for fucking wanting to go to Evo because it is.
I need to.
It's look. I'm looking at prices right now. If you got $600, you can fly there right now.
The sooner you book it, the better.
That's true.
The sooner I book it, the less I've saved. It's like a catch-22.
Yeah, that's true. Look,
so what I'm trying to do is save for the following year, if that makes sense. So there's no dilemma involved.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Listen, I'm not saying buy a flight now because it's definitely not the smartest choice. Because Lord knows that's the privilege of living in the U.S. Because the weekend before Evo, I was still like, maybe I'll just fly out there for the weekend. Like legitimately, I was like, what if I just go for the weekend? Like I'll fly out Friday morning, I'll fly back Sunday night, blah 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 blah. And flights, a round trip flight was $89. From the East Coast over to Las Vegas and back. So I was like, and eventually I didn't, but Jesus Christ.
That's upsetting.
I know. But look, you guys get like I said, you guys get all the cool events like Celtic Throwdown and everything else. So
true.
It's a trade-off. Y'all have different countries that you can just drive to, all right? We don't have that luxury. That'd be so fucking nice. Oh, I guess not
Yeah,
Ireland,
true,
really.
true. There's pros and cons.
Yeah, it happens from all over the world. Uh, which is a really big thing that a lot of people talked about. Like the privilege of like what the East Coast in the United States has in the West Coast versus like the middle of the U.S., the Midwest scene. But like I've seen a lot in Europe. You guys don't really have, I don't know, I don't want to say regional advantages, but like as an entire European like FGC, you guys have banded together and created some of the best players in the world. Problem X came out and fucking won Evo last year.
It's even on that point to even further prove your point. The Middle East doesn't have their own regional events, so we'll just take them. You're ours now. Like,
yeah.
Angry Bird, Big Bird, you're ours now. No, you're European. I don't care what you say. Like, you're unofficially European. But yeah, and I think, without getting too political or historical, I think a lot of that is just due to the nature of how, Europe and the EU has formed over the last 10 to 20 years with the free travel here everywhere and with how small most regional scenes would be. I just don't think there would have been any point in separating it up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes way more sense to just be, a joint European scene. And it's nicer too because, again, without getting too social or political, I've talked to people from different backgrounds, be it, poorer backgrounds, richer backgrounds, Islamic backgrounds that I would have never met anywhere in Ireland, that I met through the FGC because of that big European scene that just changed my perspective on not only fighting games but everything.
Yeah.
So it's such a fantastic thing to have, like, a wide multicultural community that go and just enjoy this fighting game. It's so good.
Yeah, that's as I talked about this a while ago on an episode, but where I live in Michigan in the United States, I live in a really small town. Our population is about 9,000 to 10,000 people in the entire county where I live. So I don't have a lot of experience, or not a lot of experience, but like I don't get to hang out with like other brown people. Because they don't fucking exist where I live. Like I'm the one brown guy
right.
for fucking 40 square miles. And so when I get to go to these FGC events, I actually get to hang out with like other like cultures of people that aren't like John Boy from the farm. So it's really fucking nice.
yeah. I get you exactly. It's such a good thing. It is.
And like meeting people from all walks of life has been like awesome and learning so much. I've learned more about Japanese and Asian and Chinese culture just interacting with people than I've ever learned like from school or anything else.
Exactly, yeah.
Strictly by like I happened to sit down next to someone and I wanted to beat their ass at fighting games, and it is what it is, and you learn so much. Ah, man. Listen, Taquito said it best. Fighting games are something so great.
So great. It really is.
The true prophet of the FGC. What a fucking hero that guy is. Oh, man. Fuck, what was I going to say? There was something else I was going to say about... the state of Street Fighter V is what I wanted to ask you about. So,
okay.
As we head into November, we have the North American Regional Finals, and everyone is assuming that is where they're going to make the next announcement for Street Fighter V. And, a lot of people have been talking about Oro popping up or Rose popping up. Who knows? But if you could throw a character into Street Fighter, if you had to bring a character back that's not currently in 5, who would you put in the game?
Okay. This isn't a fair question, because anybody who knows me on like Discord or Twitter, like especially the new Challengers Discord, so the one that will be linked with the Reddit that's very much to do with coaching and learning the game.
Yep.
I would want to say well known, maybe infamous or hated in that Discord, but I chat in there a lot. And I think I said when's Rose more than any other statement ever in any Discord. So my answer is Rose.
Okay. You want the Soul Satellites back in Street Fighter V.
It is Lisa from JoJo Part 2. The best JoJo part. Don't fight me on that, okay? The best. I just want, like, it was the first character in any fighting game that I was like, yo, this character's sick.
Okay.
Now, it was in... Don't judge me, because I've been playing fighting games for quite a while. This is fun, that's fun, but never really... I don't know about you, but when I play a fighting game, the character I'm playing matters as much as the system mechanics to me.
Absolutely.
Like, if I don't... It needs to be... Like, some games I'll play for the character alone. but it was Street Fighter. So it was Alpha Max 3 or Alpha 3 Max. I can't remember.
Okay.
Some weird PSP port of Alpha 3.
Yeah.
And I got it as a Christmas present or a birthday present, and I was like, yeah, I'll learn how to play this one properly. And just, oh yeah, Rose, she seems really cool, and just stuck in my brain as a cool character since I was a child. So I can't turn that switch off. If I was to be like totally impartial and try and pick like just a character I think would be really awesome, like for the community as a whole to see back, probably Makoto, just because I know so much of the community loves that character.
Well, listen, I'm not asking about fuck the community right now. This is who you want back. So I'll allow Rose, and I'll let you know. I'll make no judgments on your love of the best season of JoJo because I've yet to see any episode of JoJo. So I
thought we were going to be friends.
Look, damn. I know. For whatever reason, it never like came across for me like as something to watch or like hang out with.
Yeah, understandable.
I like the two biggest gaming and anime phenomenons that have happened over the last 20 years are absent from my life. So like I've never played Half-Life and I've never watched JoJo's.
Wow.
So every time that someone's like, I like this about JoJo, is like, don't mind me, and I'm like, fucking don't worry, because the only animes that I know, Cowboy Bebop, I know Dragon Ball Z, I know Gundam Wing, and High Score Girl, and like those are my 4 anime, and like anything outside of that realm, I'm like, fucking, I might know the characters, but I don't know anything about it. So you're all set. It's something else. See, Hacker in the chat's got my back. He also has never played Half-Life or seen JoJo. So look, there's more of us out here.
Yeah, you're on your own. Nice.
Yeah, I'm not on my own here. I finally have someone that has my back. Damn. Oh man. All right. So Rose for Street Fighter V. I'm down with it. I thought Soul Satellite was excellent in Street Fighter 4. I hope they do something. Did you play any of the Injustice games?
I actually have played Injustice too. Yeah.
Okay, so Black Adam, he has those orbs for his.
I do. Yeah.
And they don't cause any hit stun or damage scaling, but they like count towards his combo. I hope that's what Soul Satellite does in Street Fighter V if Rose gets in. I hope she can pop her V trigger and they cause no hit stun, but they just fucking rack up damage. And I want Rose to be like a corner monster and just
and I've heard people like make complaints. Oh, we don't need Rose. We have Manat, and it's like. But Manat plays nothing like Rose. And like I think people who think she does are being silly. Come on now.
Yeah. That's like saying we don't need Akuma because we have Ryu. Like,
yeah, but like they're both kind of keep away in Zony, but like Manat's like Dalsum Zony and Rose is kind of, more along the lines of I don't know what you'd compare her to in the current version of Street Fighter 5. Like Falk or Poison kind of mid-range Zony. Not quite the full screen standing hard punch or crouching hard kick that Dalsum and Manat are doing,
Right, absolutely. Thanks for the follow, Regis. Much appreciated.
That's my boss. Be nice.
Hey, what's going on?
That's the actual TO for Saltcoin.
Oh, hey, much appreciated. Thanks for stopping by. Fuck. I don't know. Yeah, I think you'd most likely compare Rose to like a Falk-like character.
Falk is a really good comparison, yeah.
Yeah, or maybe like Sakura almost in this version, because Sakura does a really good job of like poking and keep away, and I think that's what Rose would do best, is keep you right on the edge, and force tick throw situations, or like hard keep away situations. I don't know. I'm excited to see her if they announce her. I'm excited to see Oro, if they actually announce him.
Man, Oro will be sick. Like a Tengu Stone V trigger, that would be sick.
Yeah.
Like, please. Capcom, please.
Look, the only thing that I request with Oro is that they keep his dick and balls exposed like they did in Third Strike.
Of course.
If I don't see it, I'm going to be very upset. But,
people have had some complaints, about how the way some characters work in the game, and, especially with returning characters, them not being as strong or as, specific as they used to be in older games. But one thing that I will absolutely die on a hill for Capcom for is the visual design, especially of the returning characters, all not phenomenal. So good. They've done so much justice to the character designs, I think, in updating them.
Yeah, they've done super well. E Honda looks fantastic.
exactly. I mean, even Poison's new design is brilliant. Sakura's new design, Sagat looks great. Like they're just all good.
Uh,
So
yeah.
if we can get sexy 2020 Oro, I'm all about that.
Oh man, the Red Bull costumes that they're coming out with recently for Sagat, E Honda, and Lucia look cool as hell. For anyone that hasn't seen it, I'll throw that on the screen really quick too. But yeah, the new character designs look awesome. I love like Sagat's tattered robes. I think
Yeah.
I think that's an excellent design choice for him, or like his tattered scarf and everything else. I think those look awesome. I love E Honda's like elbow pads and like full like apron style thing that he's got going on.
Yeah, and the Yakuza outfit, like it's so good.
Yes, oh my god, the purple suit like with the Yakuza. Oh my god.
Oh, and that, yeah, it's very gangster. It's great.
Yeah, yeah. For anyone that's watching right now, hold on, we'll go fit the screen. There we go. Boom. Those are the character designs for Sagat, E Honda, and Lucia. They look so fucking good. I love the Red Bull costumes. And yeah, I think that they've done a very good job of reintroducing the characters to a newer audience, and redesigning them for people that are returning to their characters. Whether or not G is Q remains to be seen. I think he is. But if,
maybe we'll get confirmation.
Yeah, maybe we'll get confirmation one day. But for the time being, I think they've done even that character looks cool as hell. I love G. I think he's a very solid design. Yeah, so I don't know. Just going forward, I hope that they just bring us better character models, and I hope they introduce some newcomers. I hope the gorilla from the Neo Shadaloo gets in.
That would be sick. One thing especially about the newcomers is again, maybe I don't want to sound like too much of a shill, but I think some of the newcomers are some of the best newcomers we've ever had, hands down. I mean, Abigail, even if you don't enjoy the character or like them or think that they're a good character in the meta, look at Zeku, G, Abigail, the amount of effort gone into those character designs, amazing. I think it personally, anyway.
Yeah. Well, listen, Abigail is on the screen at all times whenever I'm streaming, so don't you worry about it. Abigail's my boy. I love Abigail. I think he's one of the best character designs that they've done. And I know earlier you talked about you would a character being as important for you as the gameplay itself. I think Abigail is definitely that for me because I was having a lot of fun with Street Fighter V. And then Abigail was announced and came out, and I was like, okay, well, fuck it. I gotta try him out. And I fell in love.
Nice.
Just immediately fell in love. I was like, oh, this is the character that I've been waiting for a long time in a Street Fighter game.
Yeah, I can respect that totally. I'm a Bison main normally, but the last maybe week I was kind of on a whim playing with Sakura, just messing around, learning her, and I think I'm going to, she's so much fun. And people are like, oh, but just play Akuma if you want to play a character like that. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't care that it's a character like that. I want to play Sakura.
Right. Yeah, that's, for the longest time, I've been a grappler main my entire life. So Zangief is my standby always. And then, Hugo, when Hugo was in Third Strike and Second Impact, and then when he came to 4, I went right to Hugo because Hugo is the fucking best. Then in 5, I was playing Zangief and playing Birdie, and then Abigail came out. So Abigail, that's the fucking one.
You don't get much bigger boy than Abigail.
Yeah,
so.
But I think it's just across all games because Soul Calibur, I'll go right for Astaroth. In Tekken, I go for King. And
nice.
Always grapplers. I don't know what it is. There's just something so cool to me about a character that has specific command grabs. I
like big assholes.
Yeah.
No, I'm not even joking. I like Bison. I like Brian Fury. I like all the villain characters in Dragon Ball. Susano and Blaze Blue. I just like playing big villains. I don't know what it is.
You know what? Because they're cool as fuck.
They are cool as fuck. That's the thing. And when you Ryu wins a fight, or Ken wins a fight, or Abigail wins a fight, they're like, haha, good fight. When the villain wins the fight, he's like, I'm going to kill your whole country. I don't know, maybe that says something about me as a person, but I find that motivating.
No, that's I love Brian Fury, would enter the ring in Tekken 3, laughing his ass off, ready to kill somebody.
Yep.
And I was, Brian Fury was one of those characters that when I saw him, I was like, oh, this is fucking terrifying. This is an actual
he's
crazy
so
person.
Cool.
But yeah, he's cool as fuck. Cell, I think, is one of the coolest characters in any, anime video game ever. from Dragon Ball. I think Cell is just like the pinnacle of Dragon Ball villains. I think he's the best one.
Yeah. He's so cool.
And even M. Bison. I think Urian's dope as fuck. There's something about him, just always fucking just like dripping cool. Seth can kind of fuck off. I hate Seth.
Oh really? I think Seth's cool.
I don't know what it is about Seth. Maybe if he had hair. I don't know. He like I don't know what it is.
Maybe if he had hair?
Yeah, maybe if he had hair. I don't know. Give him like cornrows or something like that. Like something about Seth is just unappealing for me. I don't know what it is. I think his moveset is really cool. Like everything that he has, like the tandem engine and all that shit. Like I think that's all super cool. But like something about his face just makes me want to punch it. I like don't know what it is. Oh man. All right, sorry. I'll get off my shitty rant about Seth. I know people enjoy it.
Poor Seth.
I know, but that's just me. Okay, so you've been around for a while. You said you were an 09er. Started getting really into it, or around that time. Do you, you've been commentating. You've been knee deep in this environment. Do you have a favorite story that's come out of the FGC during that time?
Yeah, I was thinking about this, and there's so many that stand out. Obviously, you've got a really really obvious cliched one is the Takedo Daigo rivalry of recent years. Culminating in that Evo win. There's a lot going on there. But I think personally, if thinking about this question, I'd like to highlight a European case here that I think is just super cool and inspiring, which is a lot of people know about Broly legs. But we there's a very well known, differently abled player we have here in Europe as well, Sven. He's blind and plays phenomenally well, like better than me, better than I probably ever will. And I have the pleasure of commentating his matches quite often on the Salt Mine, and every time it's just like, damn man, if this guy's able to play at this level without being able to see, then I have absolutely no fucking excuse. It's very inspiring, and I think it's just a cool story,
Yeah, I saw a couple months ago on Twitter that he posted that he made Super Diamond, and I sat there, and at the time I think I had just hit Platinum, and I was like, fuck me. Man.
Like, fuck you, nice, that's really good job, that's so inspiring, but man.
But congrats to that dude, that's super, he legit, you guys, I cannot stress this enough, the man cannot see. He's blind.
I mean, his name is Blind Warrior Sven.
Yeah,
and he is.
And
he
will.
I hope he doesn't mind talking about this, but he seems to be super chill in talking about it. And as far as I understand, that he plays solely through just sound.
Right.
So when you jump, your character makes a sound. When you walk, and you don't think about this in normal play because you rely on your eyesight so much, but the amount he's able to understand with just sound is phenomenal. It's very inspiring.
Yeah, and again, we're not talking negative about Sven. Congratulations to you and everything that you do. The fact that you've gone this far in online tournaments and played as well as you do is like you said, it's phenomenal. And I can't say enough nice things about it. But yeah, man, fucking shout outs to him for doing everything that he does and fucking when you watch his play, his links are crisp as fuck. He doesn't miss. That dude confirms everything.
His confirms are so good. Now he does play a bit crazy with Ken, but I think some of it's partially due to it. Some spacing things are quite difficult with just audio aid.
Yeah.
But man, if someone didn't tell you he was blind, you wouldn't guess ever.
No,
he's great.
But that's also the nature of being a Ken player is there's a wild streak in there. So.
I mean, yeah. Look, I don't want to make jokes about. There's one character a blind person I think would probably be Ken, because you can YOLO quite hard sometimes.
It doesn't matter how well your eyesight is. You're gonna get a full screen heavy Tatsu. No matter what the rank.
Absolutely. Into EXDP works every time.
Fucking flawless every time. And the one time they block is when you get thrown and now you're in the corner. God damn it. Oh man. Ken, what a character. What a character. Well, look, we're getting close to the end here. I'm I'm gonna open it up to the chat. If anyone has any questions for Ace of Spuds, go ahead and throw them out now. If you have any questions about running, not running, commentating, commentating the Salt Mine League, anything about life in Ireland from the FGC, go right ahead, throw it in the chat. Meanwhile, I'll ask you a couple last questions. The first one's gonna be a hard-hitting one. The second one, I'll open it up for you for anything. But
oh damn, okay.
All right, so I know like we said, Europe is really really close. You guys really don't have like this scene or that scene. Like you guys are together and you guys perform together very well. You know, Europe. When someone wins, it doesn't matter if they're from Ireland or for London or Germany. You know, the entire continent is like, we won, like we did this. But if you had to choose a specific region in Europe, who is the strongest?
UK. It's not a question.
Like
I don't need to think. I'm sorry, guys, but it's not a question. Problem, infectious, hurricane. You know, multiple other warlord players of only those characters. Broski, Jester's phenomenal win yesterday, at EGX. Don't know, did you see that? That was maybe one of the hypest sets I've ever seen ever of Street Fighter 5.
Over Sako? Yeah, that was excellent.
Guys, I don't, as an Irishman, it pains me to say, but like the UK are easily the best section of the European scene.
Okay.
Followed probably closely by Germany. If I had to put a pin on it. Now, if you're talking about per capita, then it's the UAE, because there's two of them and they're both really, 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 really good.
Okay.
But I mean, overall, definitely, I would have to give it to the UK scene.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. I had to know, because that's not like, that wasn't me trying to instigate a fight. So please, no one come with your pitchforks. But like, you know, as someone who sits on the outside, and I don't really have a lot of experience with the European scene, I've always wondered, like, if you were to ask someone from there, what's the strongest scene? Like, I had to know. I had a feeling it was the UK, because they have put out such great results. But you know, there's hidden killers in every fucking region that not everyone knows.
But that's
about.
it. We do have killers from all over the place. You know, we do have Phenom, for example. You know, you've got the Nord players there as well. You know, from Scandinavian countries, and they have very strong scenes. But again, just by player to player, the number of high quality players they have, it has to be the UK.
Okay, all right, fair enough. RF Hacker in the chat wants to know, if you got to choose how countries settled disputes, what would you have them compete in?
Oh, as in like political disputes?
Well, you know, yeah, any disputes. You could have them play fucking Street Fighter. You could have them do Gundam fights.
What kind of competition would it be? All right, okay. Damn, that's a tough question.
Yeah. So war is now illegal. Like, no more war.
Okay, war is so it's This is an anime.
Yeah.
This is probably multiple anime setups, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna be really cliched and say chess. Chess. I think it really is a gentleman's game.
Okay. Hey, look, fair enough. Because, like, you know, for me, I would go like fucking. We're gonna rip Beyblades. Fucking let the dice fall over the...
Yeah, no, I take it back. Yu-Gi-Oh!
Oh, okay, all right. Listen, chess, totally fine. You know, understood, honored. But if I have to see two prime ministers go at it in Yu-Gi-Oh, absolutely.
That'd be fucking sick.
Absolutely. Yahtzee's too much of a game of chance. Fuck Yahtzee. I ain't putting no country's futures on Yahtzee. But Yu-Gi-Oh, absolutely. Fuck, you better believe in the heart of the cards if you want these trade disputes to settle.
Exactly.
Oh man. All right. So if you want to fight that bad, play Yahtzee, you assholes. No, fuck off. We're playing Yu-Gi-Oh. So if so if anyone else has any other questions, feel free to throw them out. But I'll ask you this last question. Anything that you have on your chest, anything you want to get out right now, now is your opportunity. Anything you want to talk about within the fighting game community, the state of fighting games, however you feel about anything that you want to talk about that you feel like you need a platform for, the floor is open for you right now.
Well, the big thing, and the thing that I'll probably never stop talking about, and that I'm going to continue harping on, and hopefully finances allowing, end up being able to have an impact on this myself, is that I think our current methodology and ways and approaches to teaching are garbage. And that pains me to say, but I really do genuinely think that we really need to pull up our socks as a community and get better at teaching. And obviously I'm coming from a coaching background, so I'm biased, but it's just something that I feel so strongly about it, because I think the community could grow so much by having that initial phase, that early steps, those first 100 hours being better.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I would need 5 more podcast episodes to say everything on the topic, so I won't go too much into it.
Listen, the floor is yours. Tear it up. You have as long as you want. Anything that you want to fucking get into, you're more than welcome to. I won't cut you off.
See, the main thing is, and we did kind of touch on it earlier, the old school FGC was arcade culture. You can make the comment, where did Daigo learn everything he knows? Well, he learned it through trial by fire, hundreds if not thousands of hours figuring things out bit by bit, which makes him an absolutely excellent player. But his ability to teach probably took much longer to coach. And he is a good teacher. I've seen the videos, I've seen him giving tutorials and explaining concepts and breaking them down. But I can guarantee you, if he wasn't such a good natural teacher, his ability to relay that information would not be where it is. Because if you learn just by sheer force and will of effort, you're not learning to teach what you're learning as you learn it. Now, that sounds like a mouthful. But I think we as a community need to get better about teaching to learn, so that once it's learned, it can also be retaught. So, the obvious thing here is that, and again, I don't want to be sounding too pessimistic, but even on the development side, the in-game stuff is failing us by quite a large margin, in my opinion. Now, the thing is there somebody, for example, in Capcom's dev team that is well versed enough in what actually needs to be done in the meta game of Street Fighter V to sit down and do a tutorial that good? Maybe not. Maybe they should hire someone. You know what I mean? Is there a Daigo working for Capcom?
Okay.
So I think that might be a point of contention. But I think we as content creators or commentators, or however you want to view it, not that we have to take up the responsibility, but that there's an opportunity for us to take up the responsibility. For example, right? Let's say you're pick a fighting game, any fighting game.
Let's go Street Fighter 5.
Street Fighter 5, okay. So you bought Street Fighter 5 today and you want to learn it. You play the tutorial and then you're like, damn, I'm still really not sure what to do. So you go to YouTube and you pick a character. What character have you picked?
I'm going to say, let's start basic. Let's say Ryu.
Okay. So if you just type in SF5 Ryu guide, right, on YouTube, the first video that comes up is 26 minutes. Nonsense. Nobody who's trying to play the game for the first time is going to sit down for half an hour and watch a television episode. Okay? No, I'm being deadly serious.
Yeah, no. No, absolutely.
And I'm not going to name the person in case they take it the wrong way, because I'm in absolutely no way trying to dismiss this person. I guarantee you it's a great video. I guarantee you the content is good. I guarantee you it's helpful. But how people learn, and I've been reading into this a lot, researching this a lot. I do it semi, not professionally, but as a part of my job, if that makes sense. It's not my job, but it's a part of my job. And obviously, coming from the coaching, it means a lot to me. And you need to be able to teach people in 5 to 10 minute bursts, and then let them go away and do something, be it practicing the game or something differently entirely. But you can't make people sit down for half an hour or 1 hour learning when what the thing that they're actually learning is a mechanical skill. That kind of method of teaching works fine when it's just the absorption of information. But fighting games are mechanical skills, and we need to get better at being okay, what is a poke? Right, this is the example I always use. All right, a poke is a reasonably fast, far-reaching move that you can use if your opponent's trying to dash at you or walk up on you, or you're just kind of trying to feel them out and poke out the space.
Mm-hmm.
What would be the properties of a good poke? Fast startup, safe, long-reaching, possibly hit confirmable down the road. All right, okay, well, here's the list of 36 characters in Street Fighter 5, and here's one good poke for all of them. Go practice it.
Okay.
2-minute video, 3-minute video. All right, next video. What is a fireball? Simple. Just, we need it to be that basic, because I think that's the problem. We're so fluent and so ingrained in FGC, culture and learning and language, that I think a lot of us, if not all of us, are guilty of forgetting what it's like to pick up your first fighting game. Now, the content that's online, I'm not trying to dismiss it. There's fantastic content out there. There's fantastic ways to learn. But I think we will be just that bit better served by just aiming it at the lowest common denominator. And I mean that in the nicest way possible. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
I'll stop ranting about it now.
No, like I said, you are totally fine. You have the floor for as much as you want to talk about it.
Because again, even if you look up again, if you just looked up Street Fighter 5 guide, the very first thing that comes up is a 25-minute video from a mission. And the next one, 26 minutes. The next one, 50 minutes. The next one, 1 hour and 11 minutes. And that's in the top 5 results. Now, again, I'm not trying to dismiss this content. But are you going to get everything the game needs in half an hour?
No.
1 hour, 2 hours? No.
No, it doesn't.
And are you going to overload them with half an hour of information when they could just learn one thing per time? Maybe I'm being too cynical on this, because obviously I come from the background of coaching. Maybe I'm being overly cynical, but I just think there is a gap and an opportunity there for us as content creators to really hone in on, literally, what is a jab and why is it good? Why is 3 frames so important? Really basic concepts. And really just explain them for 5 minutes, and then just tell the viewer, all right, go and practice it for 5 minutes. Go and do it for 10 minutes. Do not watch the next part of this video series, or I'll come to your ass and come to your house and kick your ass if I find out you skipped and didn't go do your practice, And I can see this with my own sister. She's 12. She plays games. She's stereotypical kid, loves her Fortnite, loves her Apex,
right?
But has been playing Street Fighter with me when I come to visit. Within 5 minutes of me explaining because she wants to play Cammy, okay? So I was like, right, your standing medium kick, you can poke people, and then your back medium punch, that's the anti-air when they jump, and this is how you throw. And don't forget, if you think they're going to throw you, you put them back, and then you will take the throw. Within 5 minutes of her practicing those, she was perfecting her sisters.
Damn.
It's so simple. So not every game is a perfect, a couple of perfects, but that level of difference is what we need to hone in on.
Yeah, man, it's something that I hadn't thought about until you bring it up now. But it makes a lot of sense. Watching a half-hour video and then going, okay, I think I got this, and then going into the game is a lot like cramming right before a test.
Exactly. That's the problem. We're in a cram mentality.
Yeah, and
it's a very good way of putting it.
The reason that people tell you don't do that is because you don't retain that information. It zooms across your face as you try to remember it, and then you're thrown into the test, and you go, I just read this. Why don't I know what it is? Because you're overloading yourself on information instead of taking it piece by piece and getting that muscle memory built into your hands to play fighting games.
Exactly.
The old Bruce Lee quote, and it's a great one that applies to fighting games and to coaching. I fear not the man who has practiced 10,000 kicks, but I fear the man who has practiced one kick 10,000 times.
Exactly.
You need to get the basic rudimentary things in your hands, in your fingers, feeling it and understanding why it's important before you move on to advanced and even another basic technique. It's super important. Look, I know you said you didn't want to go on a rant, but I appreciate the rant because that went in a place that I didn't think it was going to. I think that coaching and teaching is super important, and I hope a lot of people will take that and learn from it. Well, listen, before I let you out of here, there's actually a secret last question that I have to ask you. Okay, so the Reddit online local, largest online local in the world. They hit 80 plus. Routinely. Sometimes they hit about 50 or so. But they've gotten 70, 60. Members and competitors at a time. They have the East Coast local on Monday. They have the Friday local. And Saturday, they've now encroached on your territory where Cross Moon is running the online local for the EU. Is there a rivalry between Salt Mine TV and the Reddit local?
No, well, I mean, a rivalry implies there's competition, so no.
Oh!
No, I'm joking.
Shit.
No, no. Like, jokes aside, no, I think, again, it all goes back to, like, the modern FGC community evolving into, an overall joint effort.
Yeah.
Like, I don't see, again, I don't want to speak for the whole of Salt Mine organisation, but me personally, why would there ever be an issue with a tournament on a Saturday if ours is on a Sunday? You know what I mean? Let's have more content and more tournaments and more attempts for people to practice the game.
Absolutely. No, this was just my easiest softball to lob out there for promotion.
Of course. And, like, I played plenty with Cross. Like, we actually practice together quite often, obviously being in the same region.
Right.
And, him running the Saturday, even though I'm always busy on a Saturday, is like, this is my locals, because I can't play in Salt Mine, because I have to commentate.
Right.
So it's only a net positive having multiple events.
Absolutely. Well, listen, thank you, man. I appreciate you rolling with the questions, rolling with the punches. As RF Hacker says in the chat, this has been fucking killer. You've done an excellent job breaking shit down. I hope that people take your advice and learn to coach and produce content that will teach the next generation of players.
Like I said, look, I don't want to sound too, pretentious, but hopefully, if I can get a couple of things together, it might be something, I want to start doing myself.
Yeah.
Practice what you preach. It's as simple as that.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we need some people to be pretentious because a lot of people are too
That's how
fucking
shit
relaxed.
gets done. Like.
Yeah, listen, don't worry about being too pretentious, because sometimes we fucking need it, alright? We're too goddamn relaxed over here. Sometimes the FGC needs a kick in the ass. And we need a strict teacher. And if you can be that teacher, the more power to you. I'll fucking support every video that you make. Oh, listen, man, this has been excellent. If people want to find you on the internet, where can they find you?
So the easiest one, obviously, is Twitter. So I'm just Ace of Spuds with _ on Twitter. Obviously, you can check out Salt Mine on Twitch. If you just type in Salt Mine League, it'll be the first result always. But the easiest way to contact me or get and follow me and see what I'm doing is definitely Twitter. And if things I'm working on in the background do come to fruition, it'll all be communicated via Twitter. So that's honestly the best way to hit me up.
All right, excellent. Sorry, go ahead.
One last thing, sorry, yeah. This is something I'm always harping on about, like even to other commentators. I'm like, just talk to people, Tasty Steve, do you think he's the best commentator in the world? Or do you think James Chen is the best commentator in the world? Just ask them a question. Don't be afraid to. And again, I like to practice what I preach. If for any reason anybody wants to ask me anything after the podcast, for any reason, just ask. Just DM me on Twitter, just @ me on Twitter. I don't care. I'm more than happy to discuss anything.
Awesome. Well, look, you heard the man at @AceOfSpuds_ on Twitter. Go out, find him, ask him anything. Listen, for what it's worth, I think from the bit that I've watched from Salt Mine, I think you're a fucking excellent commentator and continue to do killer work.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
If you want to find me on the internet, I'm on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, and blueapron.com as SrirachaFlash. The podcast will be up on iTunes, everything else. If you guys would please give us a rate and review, 5 stars, much appreciated. Helps get the word out. If you want merch is in the chat right now for people watching on the VOD. On Twitch, it'll be in the content or in the description down below underneath the podcast details. Thank you everyone for stopping by. This has been Ace of Spuds. I have been SrirachaFlash, and we will see you guys later on. Have a good night.